All right, guys, before we jump into this, if you're new here or if you're returning and you haven't subscribed and you enjoy the content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. All right, guys, welcome back to another video. So I wanted to talk about this because this is something that pretty much everybody has been talking about over the weekend, and it's for like the 38th time this year, as I tweeted out earlier, that we're talking about Xbox going full third party for just the absolutely no reason other than I guess people are hoping that they're going to be able to play all of the big first party Xbox games that are going to be coming out over the next number of years, as we're really starting to see them ramp up their releases. We saw 2023 be a great year, and 2024 looking like it's going to be even better with stuff that's been announced and stuff that we don't even know is coming out. But the premise that they have to become third party to survive and they're going away from creating consoles is just absolute stupidity. As I mean, we've seen Phil Spencer explain the strategy over and over and over again about the wherever Xbox Game Pass is, the legacy games and older titles staying on all other platforms, but newer IPs and new games that do come out are going to be Xbox ecosystem exclusive. We don't need to go over it. We've gone over it so many times, but we have this conversation popping up again because of a post here on icaera.com. And there's always posts on forums where people just come up with wacky, crazy stuff, but this one seemingly has taken off on social media. You have prominent people talking about it, a lot of people saying it's not true, and some people actually saying it is true. But here is what they are saying. It says here, after an abysmal showing in Europe this November, being outsold 20-1 and falling behind the original Xbox, insider Sneaker SO on NeoGaf has this to say. All of them, I know of several high-profile Bethesda titles whose port work started up a few months ago. I also have some knowledge on ABK in general, and not a single project that was in dev or that has gotten an initial approval to have an exploratory milestone achieved has had a single discussion on exclusivity. I also now know of several titles that fall squarely under Xbox Game Studios, titles that have yet to be announced that now are doing the PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch 2 development. The console wars are basically over. The public just doesn't know it yet. So a couple of things here. They say high profile Bethesda titles whose port work started up a few months ago. So would this mean making sure that these new Bethesda games that are coming out in the future, ones that we potentially don't know about right now, are being worked on for the Nintendo Switch 2 or the PlayStation 5? And I mean, I'm very skeptical of that first claim already, because how many of these ports are being worked on? How many high profile Bethesda games are ready to be released? How long will these ports take? When are we getting an announcement for these high profile Bethesda games? All of these questions, nobody knows. And he talks about ABK in general. I mean, they just acquired ABK. They went through 2 years or so of this process of going through court. It's very unlikely that going into right now, like we're in the Christmas holiday season, we're going into the new year, and I'm sure they haven't had many discussions about every single game and exclusivity. We first Phil Spencer say that it's on a case-by-case basis. So I don't think it's shocking whatsoever that if this is true, that Xbox hasn't determined the exclusivity side of things of all these ABK games that are coming out. That's probably going to happen in the new year, with the fact, like I said, they just literally acquired ABK, and there's so much that has to get done to make sure the transfer is smooth and that employees are okay, people are coming to a new company. All of the stuff has to happen probably before they're going in and determining the entire scope of exclusivity as to what they're going to be doing with ABK games. Some games are going to be on Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. Some games are only going to be exclusive to Xbox, just like with the Bethesda games. I mean, Xbox literally had to make 10-year deals to ensure Call of Duty was on other platforms and to ensure Activision Blizzard games were on the cloud services, giving the rights to Ubisoft to put these games on the cloud services. So that isn't a shock at all. This just seems like something that is put out there because of all of the knowledge we already previously know from the entire ABK acquisition. Then they says, I also know several titles that fall squarely under XGS, titles that have yet to be announced that are now doing PS, Xbox, Switch 2 development. And I mean, that's just a baseless claim. There's no information beyond that. Anybody can come out and say that. Any console warrior can come out and say that. So nothing I think you can take away from that statement as well. Now here, the last sentence is the funny sentence. The console wars are basically over. The public just doesn't know it yet. I mean, Phil Spencer and Xbox have said that console sales are not where they are measuring their success. They haven't been in the console wars for tons of time now. For a number of years, they haven't been caring whether they are going head to head, one to one with sales of the PlayStation 5. They're looking at their user base, the amount of monthly active users they have within Xbox, no matter where they are playing Xbox Game Pass. So that is just a console warrior sentence that doesn't even match up to what Xbox's strategy is. We already know that they've been putting their games out from the beginning of this generation on multiple different platforms so people can access Xbox in multiple different ways. But at the same time, they recognize that they need those ecosystem exclusive games that aren't going to be playable on PlayStation, aren't going to be playable on the Nintendo Switch, so that people want to sign up for Xbox Game Pass and then decide where they want to play those games, whether that's in the cloud, whether it's on their PC, their mobile phone, or if that's on an Xbox console themselves. It's almost like people just do not listen at all to what the Xbox strategy has been. They haven't changed or wavered on their strategy, but people still think anytime new news comes out that it is something completely different that is showing that they are going to be going full third party. So this, people that were talking about it, I don't believe it literally for 1 second. I'm sure it's just completely made up. It makes no sense. And it's always bringing up the discussion of, are they going to drop out of the hardware race totally because of the fact that they are losing to the PlayStation 5. And I don't think that's going to happen either. We're already seeing rumors about the next Xbox. We saw the leak of the Xbox Series X digital straight from the Xbox and Microsoft files in the FTC case. That's not even a rumor. That is something that they created. They have that console essentially totally mapped out, and we don't even know how far along they are in development. I mean, if that thing is coming out in 2024, they're probably already have some of those made in the storage units of the consoles that aren't out to the public yet. So, I mean, them leaving the hardware race as well makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Even if they're far behind PlayStation, and even if they are far behind the Nintendo Switch, it is another avenue to access Xbox Game Pass, and it is a core part of their customers that they would essentially be just abandoning. And they would lose a ton of goodwill. They would lose a ton of customers. Millions of people probably would go over and buy a PlayStation 5 and play on other platforms just because they want to play on the Xbox console. That's where they primarily game. That was the easiest way of them to access the big AAA games. And now that that is gone, they're probably going to go over to another platform where this option is still available. So there's no way they're going to stop hardware either. We're going to see Xbox, an iteration of the Series X, either digital, maybe a slim one, a pro one, and we're going to see an Xbox in the next generation. I can pretty much almost guarantee that. And we have some people who respond to this. First of all, Jess said this: no, Xbox is importing its console exclusives to PlayStation. It's just hard hopium for the fanboys, from the fanboys. And that's clearly what it is. And you have Tim Dog here saying, they won't be saying this on 01/23/24, insinuating, one, that there's going to be some sort of major announcement, whether that's a developer direct or something on January 23rd, so just right around the corner. And two, that they are most likely going to be announcing something big here, maybe along hardware, but just basically saying that Xbox isn't going anywhere, because it's a response to this tweet saying, I keep seeing tweets saying Xbox is out, Xbox is down, Xbox loses. Phil has kept his promise since 2016. Xbox is not going anywhere. Xbox is here to stay no matter where you play. Every year people say Xbox is done. The Xbox brand is stronger than it's ever been. Far from done, which it is definitely stronger than it has ever been. So I think this entire stuff is absolute garbage. And we're going to continue to see this. And what's funny about this coming out now and everybody talking about it is, it's funny that it's happening right after one of the biggest announcements in terms of a negative sense that PlayStation had, which was the cancellation of the Naughty Dog, Last of Us, multiplayer factions, whatever you want to call it. It always seems like PlayStation has this major negative announcement, and then somehow the narrative gets switched onto something just completely out of the blue about Xbox that makes no sense and is more than likely just a complete lie. Again, I've said this in multiple videos over the last couple of weeks, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Xbox fan. I'm not because I prefer Xbox. I have a PS5 and I want them to do good because I want that competition and I want to be able to use my PS5. But it's been a brutal year for PlayStation. There's no way to spin it. And the cancellation of the Last of Us multiplayer is like that icing on top of the cake, unless something else happens next week or the week after that's even bigger than that. But it really shows that there is a huge transitionary period here for PlayStation, and it's up to them now to make it or break it. Xbox has made it. They have made it with all the changes they've made going forward, and we're going to see them now thrive in 2024 and beyond. But now we're at that point where people are just kind of ignoring the fact that 2024 and going forward, the changes that PlayStation is making within their business, it's their make it or break it moment. And we will see over the next number of years if they make it or if they end up having to completely change their business model. But I will end the video there, guys. Let me know what you think about all of these rumors. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you are new, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Thank you.